think the OE has a dynamic to it which is unlike any other orchestra. It was founded by its players, it is still managed by its players. There's a great sense of ownership from within.
3, 8.
We've jacked up the whole scene in many ways and have attracted all kinds of conductors from all over the world.
We play on sometimes original, but more often copies of old instruments. And the period is anything from around 1680, 1670, right through to very late 19th century.
When I play this sort of oboe, I feel I make the music come alive in a way that I could never do if I was still playing the contemporary oboe.
1, 2, 3.
We try and play it with an appropriate attitude and in the spirit of investigation, and the instruments are a kind of natural extension of that.
We're doing Rinaldo this year, 2011, which is a great year to do it because it was premiered in 1711.
It's all hellfire and brimstone, this music, and it is certainly thrilling to play some of the writing. And some of it is so mad that it's sort of effect writing in a way. Then there's sort of hemi-demi, semi-quaver scales and things like that for the double basses, which is madness.
It was said that the orchestra was so noisy that the battle scene in the third act could be heard on the other side of the Thames.
And then you scale right down to 3 recorders, one of them very tiny, pretending to be a little bird.
The very first time the Orchestra of the Age of Enlightenment played at Glyndebourne was in 1988, and it's very nice for us this summer to be having Ottavio D'Antona making his debut here at Glyndebourne. He is a specialist in this period and has worked a lot in Italy and brings a kind of sensibility, an Italian sensibility towards this music, which seems to me to be right for an international opera house.
3, 1. Succedassi.
It's reminded me a little bit of what it must have been like at the end of the 17th century for all these British musicians who'd been working around in the theatres, when Handel comes along and adds a bit of kind of Italian theatricality to that.
Sono molto contento infatti dell'orchestra. So che tendenzialmente gli inglesi sono molto nobili anche nel suono, nel modo di fare musica e per natura un italiano invece è molto più portato a esprimere con molta forza i propri sentimenti.
This is the first time we've worked with this conductor, and it's terribly interesting because actually, when I first saw the part he sent me, I thought it was terribly overmarked, but actually, when we do the marks he wants, it's actually just how we always usually play it anyway, which is a rather lovely thing to find out.
Queste prime prove di assieme nel teatro mi hanno soddisfatto molto per l'acustica. Il teatro è molto bello, ha un'acustica molto soffice, morbida, perché è tutto in legno, ma è stato pensato acusticamente molto bene.
Here you had the sense that you can play very softly and still communicate with people. You can even see their faces in the audience. So that's a very special kind of experience and one that you really don't get very often.
We don't have to push or force, we can play as quietly as we like, and you know, as loud. We can always play as loudly as we like, and we usually never drown the singers because of the nature of the instruments.
I don't think any of us present music from the 18th century as a kind of period piece, a museum piece for our audiences. I hope we present it to them as something that's very real and alive today. Certainly the spirit of the Orchestra of the Age of Enlightenment has always been about doing things in a fresh and new way, not doing them in a dusty old way. And I think this piece and our production and the performances in it will bring the whole thing alive for today's audiences.